I didn't feel like emotionally supported during all of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I should be.
Why should you not be emotionally supported through that?
Because it's not really a divorce. And I had to tell myself all the time, no, it's not. We still have that spiritual marriage, and it's not any different than Christine and Janelle and Robyn had. If I were to consider myself not married after that moment, then I consider Janelle and Christine and Robyn all not married. But the emotion of it was still there.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Monday, December 30th, 2024, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're almost at the end of the year. I hope all of you had a great holiday. We are back just for today. I might be taking tomorrow off, but Sister Wives last night, oh my goodness. You know, one thing about season 19 on Sister Wives is that we are starting to see in real time some of the people in the family actually telling the truth. Some members of the family are not telling the truth, and that would be Robyn and Cody. But other family members are blowing the whistle on what many of us knew for years about what was going on behind the scenes. Specifically, it was Christine in last night's episode that basically exposed the entire divorce debacle that occurred between MERI and Cody. And she explained that this was a quote unquote plant, an idea planted into MERI's head by Robyn to get her to think that she needed to divorce Cody so that her kids could be adopted. Apparently, this was what set in motion what happened. Christine, for the first time, it says what everyone has said from day one. The divorce was not MERI's idea. MERI might have thought it was her idea, but it really wasn't her idea. She was being told and prodded and pushed to do this by both Cody and Robyn. And then when she finally made the decision, this was after years of manipulation. And Janelle was shocked when this all happened, couldn't believe that MERI would come to this place. Christine was frustrated because she saw all of this coming. And Robyn got exactly what she wanted and played the demure, humbled, sad woman watching this all play out. Janelle said that this was a recipe for disaster because at this point, she already saw the favoritism in the family. And Christine, again, is the hero of the night by telling us what we already knew. Cody and Robyn are awful people. They lie, they deceive, they cheat. And this concept of the divorce to adopt the children, I'll tell you where that might have come from. So let's dive into what happened.
Okay, MERI, you get to sign right here.
I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to be like, you are wrong for feeling like this. You should not feel like this. I was also getting it from other members of my family. When Cody and I got in a legal divorce, it was something that we had talked about together for years. But at the time that it actually happened, I was the one who made that move and went to go talk to the lawyer first.
I think for some people that are watching, they're sort of annoyed with these storylines because it's like, why are we talking about this all these years later? Why is this such a prevalent part? But I guess for MERI, this is relevant because she's finally actually leaving Cody and it's her process out and unraveling what happened. But for a lot of us, we saw this coming. We knew this happened. And it just, when she says that Cody and I were talking about this for years so that Robyn could adopt the kids, it's the first time she's actually acknowledging that it's not her idea. You know, they allowed her on the show to act like it was her idea. And I think that's how Cody wanted to portray it because I don't think Cody wanted to be the one to say it was my idea or Robyn to be the one saying it was my idea because it would look horrific. Why would you want to interrupt a family and have your legal wife get divorced from you so you can marry your new wife that's 10 years younger? It looks like Robyn came in to wreck the family. So it's all set up to make it look like it's your idea, MERI. This is what you wanted. Yes, she was the one that initiated it at that time, but after how many years of being told that this needed to be done? And I know that she was told it had to be done. It was all in process and in motion for a long time. So I think maybe she's trying to get rid of, when you step away from a narcissist, it's like you can finally start to see things clearly. I think that's kind of where we're at with Mary, where she's sort of seeing now, wait a minute, this might have not been my idea. Maybe this was more than just a lot of manipulation. But, Mary was manipulated in doing this. We'll get there.
Feel more confident and I'll feel more secure in our relationship, but that was never going to happen. Obviously, it was within 6 months that he quit coming around.
Mary and I, after that divorce, left Robyn and went to dinner together. I gave her a special ring, and we probably went home and made love. I mean, I'm just like going, we're not breaking this up.
I think it's kind of disgusting that he would bring up a potentially intimate moment.
Okay, that part was disgusting, honestly, because Cody earlier this season basically said that he didn't have any intimacy with his wives except for with Robyn. Remember the whole episode where he put his fingers together and he said deep intimacy. Otherwise, it's just F and F, fight, and FUCK. But now he wants us to believe that after he divorced Mary when she was bawling and crying and they barely touched and she looked miserable, that they went home after that and they made love. I've never even heard him use that term. I've never even heard him to say or admit that he had sex with any of his wives because they never talked about it on the show. And Mary's right. She says that he would never say something like that about Robyn. He would never be that crass or even discuss intimacy. And then she also said that what he said isn't true because they weren't in that place at that point in time. They weren't having relations like that. And then Cody then goes on to shame Mary because after the divorce, he says that she starts covering up her body around him, won't change in front of him, doesn't want him to see her body. And she says it's because, well, why would I show you that part of my body if we're not being intimate together? I mean, she says that within 6 months of that relationship, divorcing, the legal divorce, he stopped staying at her house. He's not around anymore. I thought she kicked him out. So who kicked who out? It just seems like Cody and Mary have different sides of the story. And the story that Mary's told for years, or that Cody has said, is you kicked me out. And now she's saying he stopped staying here. I think the marriage was over at that point. And I think they both knew it was over at that point. And I think they knew it was done. But now it's like, okay, so 10 years later, now we have to talk about it. And I understand why fans are annoyed by it, but I also think Cody is disgusting for what he said and really just how he's objectifying it. Like it was no big deal when we all know it was a big deal. He took something from someone that mattered. And I've always said about this family is that if legal marriages didn't matter, there would be none. Like if they all believed that the legal marriage was meaningless, then there would be zero legal marriages and every woman would have the same footing. But that's not how they do it. And often there is a legal marriage, which always gives the legal wife more privileges.
Legal marriage really seemed very important to Mary. I was actually sort of speechless when she told us that she was actually doing it. Mary would never do this. I already had started to see that there was a little bit of favoritism for Robyn.
So when Robyn first came into the family, she started talking to us about these other families where the first wife divorced the husband so he could marry the second wife legally and legally adopt the kids. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's a plant. And she mentioned that several times through the years.
Prior to Cody and Robyn getting together, there had been this commitment of the family of they all work together and they do things together. And there wasn't really this option of divorce. And when Robyn entered the picture, she had already been divorced and she brought into this concept that you can get divorced. And there had never been a discussion about anyone getting legally married to Cody other than Mary. And Christine says she starts telling us about how there's these families where the man will divorce his legal wife and then marry the second wife and adopt the kids. And this is something that maybe was told to them over and over and over again. And Christine says that's a plant, meaning she plants this idea into the heads of them to think that it's maybe their idea. And people that manipulate will do things like this a lot. They will continuously tell you things and sort of normalize it so that you think that in time, this is just what everyone does and you should be doing it and it's a benevolent thing. And this is an interesting idea that she's presenting to them because, Cody always loved the show Big Love. And I don't know if you followed that show, but in one of the seasons, the main character ends up divorcing his legal wife to marry his second wife and to adopt her daughter. So Robyn, knowing that Cody liked Big Love, saw that on Big Love and maybe wanted to bring that storyline into the show. And then for years kept telling them, if you don't mesh these families. If the bullying doesn't stop, my kids can leave and we'll lose the children, weaponizing that. Robyn played a role in this, but so did Kody. Kody wanted control. And I think Kody maybe in many ways allowed Robyn to like plant those ideas because he can have it look like it's Robyn's idea. Maybe they conspired together. I don't know, but it's definitely plausible that this happened. And Kody was obsessed with Big Love. And a lot of people have said for years that this show felt like it was following the storylines of Big Love. And that could be what they did. But either way, it's evil.
Like she was putting that in there because she would have loved that to happen. I don't think MERI felt like it was planted. I think MERI felt like it was her own idea.
So the idea that I like planted an idea in MERI's head is an absolute lie. I never said it. MERI told me when she made the offer that when we were getting to know each other, she had the idea in her head to offer to give me the legal marriage so that Kody could adopt my kids. I never even wanted to be legally married to Kody. I was actually really grateful.
This is such a lie. This part is she's absolutely lying. And I've noticed something with Robyn, and I'm noticing something with Kody and Robyn, is that their stories about MERI are all MERI getting manipulated. And Christine has said for years that she hated the way that Robyn treated MERI because she felt like Robyn was manipulating MERI, and that she never felt the relationship was genuine, and that she thought that Robyn was like playing MERI basically to get whatever she wanted. So Robyn plants this idea about the divorce. And listen, this happened on the show. We saw her make these comments. We saw her cry in tears and say, oh, the kids are getting bullied. Oh, if you don't stop the bullying and if you don't do better meshing the family, they can leave for their biological dad. Oh, this is so horrible. Oh, every time I talk to the kids, oh, they want to be adopted. Oh, that's all they want. They want to be a Brown. Who's planting that idea into their kids' heads? Who's telling the kids that this is what they want? Robyn, she convinces her kids that this is what they want. She tells Kody that this is what they want. She tells the family that they've got to do this. And of course, it makes it look like MERI is the one that has this idea. It reminds me and is very reminiscent of Kody and Robyn making MERI think it was her idea that they came together. And you know that MERI was just on TikTok this weekend. And on TikTok Live, she responded to this new thing about Kody and Robyn having met at church before. She said she didn't know that. She said she had no clue that Kody and Robyn had this moment at church before she ever met Robyn with Kody. She was led to believe that that meeting was the first time they all met, was on the lawn at her cousin's house. And now she's like starting to wonder if this whole thing was a setup. Of course it was, MERI. Of course it was. They met at church. They made you think it was your idea. They made you think it was your idea to bring her into the family. They conned you into all of this. And then they conned you into getting a divorce. And it's very obvious that they had this plan the whole time because they wanted to be together. So now with Robyn crying, it just, about how her family broke up, it's like disingenuous because she's lying. Anytime Robyn is confronted with the truth about anything she doesn't know, doesn't remember, and doesn't understand. If I didn't know better, Robyn would actually be twin sisters with Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
That I wasn't going to be legally married to Kody because I'd gone through so much trauma with my legal divorce of my last marriage. I was very happy and content with my spiritual marriage. I didn't need anything else.
MERI's attitude changed where I didn't feel like mine did. What she started doing was when I'd go into the house and, like normally you might see your wife dressing, she would cover herself up and hide.
Do you see what they're doing here? So Robyn's like, I never wanted that. I would never want that. I had so much trauma. My life was so traumatic. My divorce was so traumatic. There was nothing in my life. I didn't want this. If that's true, then she would not be married legally to Kody right now. If she didn't want to be married to him to begin with, she never would have done it in the first place. She got legally married to him because she wanted to get legally married to him. The whole adoption was just a stupid scam and a way for Kody to get control and have the kids still film and get out of this whole fight that he was having with Preston about this ATV accident. And it was just a way to remove Preston from the conversation, period. But Kody and Robyn want everyone to think that this wasn't what they wanted, right? It was about the kids. It wasn't about the legal marriage. If that's true, then why are they still legally married? And I said this from the beginning. If it was only about the adoption, why didn't they then get divorced right after the legal adoption happened, right? Why didn't they just walk through the process and just get divorced, just agree that they would do a agreement about child support because it was just a spiritual marriage, right? Didn't matter. It was just legal paperwork because it's not legal paperwork. And the fact that for years this family has downplayed and degraded what is an actual legal contract and a union that happens between two people when they decide to get married and diminish it and say it means nothing, it's stupid because everyone knows that having a legal marriage means something. It absolutely means something to be legally recognized as someone's wife or husband or spouse. It means something for end of life. It means something for next of kin. It means something for making decisions. It means something for taxes. It means something for having joint say in a relationship, joint ownership of property. It means something. So both Cody and Robyn, as I've told you for years, have been manipulating MERI. And it is finally Christine who exposes that Robyn planted this idea. Now, I think it's odd that it took this long for this to get out. But maybe it's because finally MERI's starting to put these pieces together and realizing that maybe this didn't unravel the way that she thought it did. Maybe this benevolence she thought she was doing wasn't her idea to begin with. It was what they wanted all along. And then for Cody to then say, well, after we discarded her, then she started covering up and not wanting to be with me. It's just a way for him to blame her for him withdrawing from her. Well, she started covering up. You see what happened there? We got a divorce and then she didn't want to show me herself anymore. So that's why I had to withdraw. You see, we got divorced and then she had an emotional affair on me. And then that's why I had to abandon her. It always removes him from the responsibility of the way he's mistreated her. And it puts the blame on her because he'll never take accountability. Neither will Robyn. I don't honestly know how Robyn and Cody still manage to be in a relationship to this day because they're both narcissists, obviously. There's no way they're not. The amount of destruction these two have done. We'll talk more about some of the other stuff that happened in this episode, but that was one part I just wanted to make my own video about so you knew what happened. You see the whole diabolical plot. You know that there's way more to it than what we're talking about here. I have other stuff. If you want to check out my Sister Wives playlist, the ex-wives of Cody Brown, you can find content where we talk about the actual divorce. So what are your thoughts about this new revelation? Are you glad to see Christine finally expose this? Do you believe that Cody and Robyn didn't do this? Or do you believe that they're lying like I think they are? What do you think about MERI finally starting to unravel this? Is this a storyline you don't care about? Are you annoyed? I don't know. Let me know. Make sure before you go to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, everyone.